Good morning and welcome to my first ever episode of the podcast, Access Your World. My name is Joshua Roy, and as a seminar leader and life coach, I'm delighted to be here with you to talk about how you can access your world. The date today is the 14th of May, 2025. And if you like what you're hearing, just go ahead and subscribe to this podcast, subscribe to this channel. There's a YouTube channel out there, Joshua Roy Seminars. If you type that into YouTube, you'll be able to find all of my YouTube content. I'd like to welcome you here today. I'm really excited to be able to share with you a little bit about, I suppose, a journey into coaching. Now, coaching is something that I love. I've been a coach now for the last decade. Now, one thing I can tell you about the coaching journey is that it's not an easy journey. It's not for the faint-hearted, and it's not for someone who thinks they're going to easily and effortlessly gain a following and be able to make it in the coaching world and the coaching realm. It's going to require a lot of effort, a lot of hard work, a lot of dedicated, consistent work in order to achieve the goals that you want. Now, it's like this with all of life, and coaching's no different. I remember when I first got into coaching, I found that I was putting in all this effort, all this work, and I wasn't getting anywhere. I felt like I was a one-legged duck swimming in a circle. And I spoke to my father about this, and I had this desire to serve and help others. And the interesting thing was that he said to me, Josh, you've got to do your apprenticeship. He said, it's like any job or business. He says, you've got to be willing to do your apprenticeship. And what he said was exactly right. And I started thinking about all the trades, anything from bricklaying to carpentry to plumbing, electrician, all of these. Well, they all go through several years where they learn their trade. Several years where the learning is slow, the pay's not great, and yet they're putting in the effort and the energy required to learn all of the skills necessary for that particular trade. And I thought to myself, well, why would I expect coaching to be any different? Well, it's not. It requires the same level of dedicated effort. And so in order to become a highly successful coach, you're not going to do it in a couple of weeks, a couple of days. You're going to do it over time so long as you're consistent, so long as you're putting in the effort to learn the skills and do the drills, as long as you're putting in the miles. A long journey begins with the first step, so a journey of many miles. It's always that first step that we take. But then there's the consistency behind that first step. We must continue putting one foot in front of the other until we arrive at our destination. And the destination can seem like it's so far off, so far in the distance. And when I think about this destination that I have in my life, and you could think about the destination yours and the obstacles that feel like they're looming around you, that they're preventing you from getting your dream and make it come true, bring it into fruition. There's a little poem that I go back to, and it's called Don't Quit. It goes like this. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, when you want to smile but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. You see, life is queer with its twists and turns, and every one of us sometimes learns. And maybe a fellow turns about when he might have won had he stuck it out. So don't give up. Though the pace seems slow, you might succeed with another blow. Often the goal is nearer than it seems to a faint and faltering man. Often the struggler's given up when he might have captured the victor's cup, and he learned too late as the night slipped down how close he was to the golden crown. You see, success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint on the clouds of doubt. And you never can tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things go wrong that you must not quit. So one thing that I want to encourage you today is to don't quit. Don't give up. You're finding the road difficult. You're finding that you're not getting the results that you want. You're not getting the immediate results. You're not gaining the wealth, the experience, the friendships. You're not gaining that which you want. And so the pursuit of those things is what's driving you. And I would encourage you to just keep on keeping on. There's really nothing else that determines success more than the ability to continually persist towards success. And so my encouragement today is simply to do that. If you've got a goal, if you've got a vision, keep your eye on that target. Keep moving towards it. Keep thinking to yourself, what's the next step? Be consistent. Don't sabotage your results. Don't fall off the bandwagon. Don't go back to old behaviors, old habits, old addictions. We can all easily slip into those. And I'm speaking from experience here. I've found myself many times backsliding. And so it really is important, it's imperative for us to remember that we need to be consistent, that we have time. We all have the same number of hours in the day. It's what we do with that time. And I always ask people, are you a consumer or are you a creator? And it's really easy to be a consumer. It's much more difficult to be a creator. Now, the creators amongst us don't always get immediate results. And so the principle of delayed gratification comes to mind. You know, there was an experiment years ago. It was called the marshmallow experiment, where a number of children were taken into a room one at a time and sat down in front of a marshmallow. A timer was in the room. The timer had 10 minutes on the clock. Now, the person that was advising the child says, listen, you can eat this marshmallow anytime you want to. But if you wait for 10 minutes, then you can have 2 marshmallows. And then the instructor left. The child was left alone with the timer and the marshmallow. Now, some of the children ate the marshmallow straight away. Others delayed for a period of time and then ate the marshmallow. There were others that were so close to the 10-minute mark and they couldn't wait any longer and ate the marshmallow. And yet there were others who sat there the entire time, didn't eat the marshmallow, and then when the instructor came back, they were presented with 2 marshmallows as promised. And what they determined was that future success in life was actually a reflection of this experiment. Because those that can delay their gratification are more likely to succeed. You see, if we're getting immediate rewards for everything that we do, it's very difficult to get you could say, the character development of consistency occurring within our lives. And yet, if you have to delay that gratification, you're not getting the money you want straight away, you're not getting the followers you want straight away, you're not getting whatever it is, the friendship, the love, the raving fans, whatever you're not getting straight away, the idea is, the concept is, just relax, put it on hold. Realize that who you're becoming is just as important as what you're achieving. I'm going to say that again. Who you're becoming is just as important as what you're receiving. You see, a lot of times when we go out to achieve a goal, it's all about the result. And that's what works. That's what sells. That's what everything in life's about. It's about getting the result, isn't it? Well, there's actually 2 results that come from personal development. The first result is the goal or the outcome. That's the first. And when you personally develop yourself, what you're wanting to do is put energy and effort into achieving some outcome. And so that's the first, you could say 50% of the result that comes from personal development. But then you've got the other 50%. What is the other 50%? Well, the other 50% of result that comes from personal development is who you become in the process. It's the character that you develop. It's the attributes that you bring into your life and start incorporating into your personality. That's the other part. And that's the big secret, is it's not just about the results. And a lot of people get fixated and locked into the results. And when they don't get the results, they get disappointed. They drop the ball. They backslide. It's not about the results. It's about the character development. And the results are there as a bonus, but that's not everything. Remember, the results are only 50%. The other 50% is who you become as a result of going on that journey. We call it the hero's journey, from wherever you are towards success, towards achievement, towards living the ultimate dream and ultimate life that you desire to live. So with that in mind, I just want to encourage you that if you've had setbacks, if you've found yourself slipping back into old habits of behavior, old ways of being less than productive, if you've found yourself on this journey, in a situation where you find yourself going up and down, to and fro, you find yourself not being able to be consistent in what you're doing, then just remember this, that success leaves clues. And if you look at other people who are successful and you look for the clues that led them to where they've gotten to, you will see a pattern of behavior. And that pattern comes back to consistency, dedication, hard work, always maintaining focus on their goal or outcome. And so when you start to think about that, what has led others to success, we get a formula for ourselves. And so here's what I want you to do. Just think to yourself, if I'm consistent, if I'm dedicated, if I keep my eye on the goal or target, and if I consistently work towards that and create the person I need to be in order to be in that situation, my future belonging, in other words, then I'm going to be successful. And so just remember that, really lock that into your mind and heart, and just remember this, that your commitment to yourself should be to discover who you really are. Unlock your incredible self and unleash that on the world. My name is Joshua Roy. Thanks very much, and I look forward to seeing you at the next exciting episode of this podcast series. Thanks again, and bye for now.